Which anime era are you taking to represent Team Earth? I'll be creating 2 5-man lineups. One with the older generation of animes and one with the new one. New being anything after Naruto. Before we start drafting, here are some rules. We are actually trying to build a functional basketball team. So things like the fit, the attitude, the body composition, they all matter. And no superpowers. Nobody's turning into a Titan mid-game, going Ultra Instinct, using Bankai, none of that. And with those restrictions, a lot of iconic characters turn into G-League level players. Like, if you limit Goku's powers, then what can he really do on a basketball court? He has the Nate Robinson build, but not the basketball IQ, so I don't know where you could really play him. Unless you're trying to run the smallest lineup ever, you can't play any of these players realistically. We also have to think about the characteristics of these anime characters when building the lineup. For example, Sanji, undersized but very high IQ. You would think that he would have a good shot at making our lineup, especially considering that he has one of the craziest footwork in all of anime. He would hit you with the Hezi pull-up and the Dream Shake all game. But the moment there's women in the stand, he's turning into Jordan Poole, and I don't need that. I need a reliable point guard, someone who always makes the right play. I'm taking Kakashi. He might not be very fancy, but he will get the job done. Now at the 2, we need someone who can shoot. I know he's undersized, but he's probably the best shooter out there. I want someone who can hit 30-footers with ease. Someone who, although is a coward, is very, very clutch. Give me the best shooter in anime, give me Usopp. So far we put very safe bets into our starting 5 for the older generation, but that changes now. If you want to win, you need an X factor. So far our team is very undersized, so at the 3 we need someone with size. We need a number 1 option. We need someone who's probably going to be good at defense. We need someone who is willing to do whatever it takes to win. And unfortunately there are not that many people in the anime world that fit those criteria. I was considering Rukawa at the 3, but he's just too short. And I was also considering Yujiro Hanma, but instead I went for a different menace. We'll take 6'5" Dio Brando. Nobody's stopping him on the fast break. And I think he can play lockdown defense. Plus he's a vampire, so he will never get tired and can play all 48 minutes. Next up, power forward. This one was easy. If Goku trusts him with raising Gohan, I'm trusting him with our interior defense. 7'5" Piccolo will play the 4 for the OG anime squad. He's not crazy mobile, he won't wow you with his skills, but he is very, very, very solid. He's not a stretch 4, but he's representing the older generations where stretch 4s weren't really a thing anyway, so this should be fine. Now all we need for the older generation is a 5, but that was kind of tricky. Not because there's a lack of talent, there certainly isn't. The issue is height. I think I'll introduce an upper limit for the height, otherwise the older generation is just drafting Whitebeard and it's game over. I mean, he's almost 22 feet tall, who's guarding that? Instead I'll be putting Toguro at the 5 for the older generation. I think he might be the ultimate glass cleaner, so I'm interested to see how many points the newer generation is going to be able to score on somebody like him. Backboards are going to get shattered. This team needs a proper coach. Otherwise, you will have locker room issues. Muten Roshi will be the head coach and Jiraiya will be the assistant coach. Finally, the bench will be Jugo, Yujiro Hanma and Rukawa. That's what I would consider the ideal starting 5 for the older generation. Now let's talk the new generation. Honestly, creating a team for the newer animes was tough. Not only are most of them super short, but a lot of the popular characters are just all talk, no bite. Also, the leader of the current generation, Midoriya, is undersized, never gets the job done and always ends up getting hurt. We've already seen that this is not a winning basketball strategy. Eren Yeager is 5'7", Tanjiro is 5'5", so we can't play neither of them. But since the older generation has Usopp in their starting 5, I think we can also take a smaller person as our point guard. So even though he looks like he's not in basketball shape, he's still going to be an unstoppable force of nature. At the 1 we have Saitama. Doesn't look like a threat, but he can easily drop 30 on you on any given night. And in case he's not playing serious and we need a real floor general for the newer generation, we will have Erwin coming off the bench as a floor general. For the 2, I'll be kind of cheating because I'll be taking somebody who's technically part of the older generation and make him part of the newer generation, and that is solely based on the fact that the anime had a remake. At the 2, the newer generation will be playing Hisoka. Yes, he might dress like Dennis Rodman and have Karl Malone tendencies, but I feel like he has a great mid-range game, so we will put him in the starting lineup. He might be a bit undersized for the 3, but nevertheless he's one of the best basketball players of this generation. I'm talking about Taiga Kagami. I know he plays the 4 in Kuroko no Basket, but if I do that, I have to match him up with Piccolo, and I don't like that matchup for them, so that's why he's moving to the 3. Now at the 4, we have somebody who I think could be the MVP of the new generation. If I didn't mention this before, we're talking about the primes of these players. And I think Prime All Might is a problem. He always did his job with a big smile on his face, and his career got shortened by his illness. So he's basically the anime Magic Johnson. We have to have him on the team. Especially with his size, he is 7'3", he can bang with Piccolo, he can bang with Toguro. I think he is crucial for this team. And at the 5, I think this should be obvious. 10'8" Escanor. Can Toguro deal with him? I don't know, but he's definitely going to be a problem on both sides of the floor. Head coach for the new generation is Aizawa, so as the head coach, I don't really know. The new generation doesn't really have anybody outstanding. And there you have it, the lineups for the old generation and new generation. Who do you think would win? Let me know down in the comments.